Oh shoot. Greetings, people of Earth, which also includes me. Welcome to the very first episode of UST, or Untitled Says Things, as you will probably most likely call it. I don't know what, you can say whatever. But anyway, we have a very special guest here today, and, sorry. What? You can't bell on the first episode? Okay. Apparently, our guest star is not here. Instead, please welcome the creator of the show, Daniel Smith, or as you may know him, Danny Benes. Most of you probably know him as Daniel Smith, though. Most of you who watch this. So let's welcome Danny. Here he is.
I'm not prepared for the show. Hey.
Feeling a little nervous there, Dan?
Well, as the creator of the show. What are you doing, Untitled?
Apparently our guest couldn't make it.
What do you mean he couldn't make it? He lives like right down the street.
I'm just saying what I was told, okay? Maybe we can make this even more special with the fact that the creator's on the show as the first guest star. I know you're not technically a guest star.
I'm the creator of the show. I'm not a guest star.
We could do that, okay? Let's just not botch this up.
Okay,
whatever it has to be. Okay? So, how are you feeling, Dan? You feel excited about being on the show here, the first episode?
Yeah, a little bit. I thought I was just going to be creating the show, and turns out I'm going to be on the first episode. Unprepared. I mean, it's cool,
So tell me about this show, Untitled Says Things. So tell me about it.
Well, I am the creator, of course, like we've already established. Basically, the show is something where it's like a radio show, except it's in video form, which obviously I am not nearly the first person to do that. But I wanted something for people to just listen to with comedy and stuff, and
So essentially, a podcast.
Right, basically, except for this exception, with me being a real person, the rest of it will be of fake characters unless something changes in the future. Like we somehow were able to get a person on here.
Yeah. I think we get it. So let me ask you this: what is this voice you're giving me right now? Like the sound of it. Like what inspired you to do all this?
Oh, well, by the way, I am the voice of Untitled. I think we get that by now. But I think I kind of wanted to go for this, like, deeper voice, but kind of like a, not really tough guy voice, but like a, maybe sort of a tough guy voice that's just deep, and, something along those lines. You know what I mean?
Kind of sounds a little more like a guy trying to sound tough, or like Knuckles the Echidna or something, like one of those newer ones.
Well, Untitled, I could always just not voice you, Just leave me silent, huh?
I'm just joking, right? I'm just joking with you. It sounds great for now. It sounds great.
Yeah, it's just I never really thought about what I wanted you to sound like, I didn't really think about it that much, and I just kind of came up with that voice because I didn't want it to be like, I've already done a lot of characters where like my Danny Tree Frog voice, like I've got a little bit of a lighter voice even if I'm not as consistent with it. It's just I have a lot of light sounding characters, so I wanted to do something different with you, Untitled.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate that you're trying something a little different with my voice. But let me ask you this. I don't mean to make this all about me, but since we're on the subject, what exactly inspired your creation of me? Like, what inspired you to draw me and start developing this character and stuff like that?
Well, it's a little hard to say for sure. I mean, it has been since 2007 since I've made you. But I think what it was like the coloring. Let's just start with that. The coloring of your character. I was a little inspired by Shadow the Hedgehog, the red and black to be more specific, or black and red, however you want to say that. And whenever I made you, I was just drawing a random character to kill for comedic relief, in a way, like dark humor. All right, that's cool, I guess. But what exactly made you want to keep up with my character? Like, what? I know you've drawn a lot of like random characters, like one-off characters and stuff, but what exactly made you want to say, hey, I want to hang on to this guy? To be honest, I really don't know. It's just something about you that just made me say, hey, I want to kind of do a little more with this guy rather than just killing him off for comedic effect. I'll have him kill other people off for comedic effect, or not people, but like other characters, I meant to say, for comedic effect. And eventually, over time, I just kind of grew attached to your character, and it's just kind of hard to say, really, but something about you, man, something about you just kept me going with and making a story for you and stuff, and Okay, I appreciate that, but a little off subject. If we really need to come up with something better to say than just and like and stuff. No, I agree.
Yeah, you get it. Okay, so here's the $1 million question. You may have already answered this in one of your previous videos, but just in case someone didn't see it or you need to refresh their minds, why is my name Untitled? What is the deal with that?
Okay, all right. Well, honestly, this also comes from the fact that whenever I was making your character at first, I was just being lazy and just wanted to draw something on Windows Paint program. The reason your name is Untitled is typically when you save a program on most things, on like computers and stuff, whenever you save it, it is considered untitled, as in it's it doesn't have a title yet. Obviously, that's what untitled means. And when I saw that, I was like, screw it. I'm just gonna call him Untitled. That's just gonna be his name. This one-off character that's gonna be his name. So, and I just stuck with that. I just kind of stuck with it.
Wow, what an inspirational story there. I guess that's why my last name is Program, right?
Yeah, that's actually the reason.
So anyway, enough about me. Let's hear about you. How's your upcoming programs going? Like, what are you making?
Well, obviously I'm working on this show. This is the first episode, so it's something I'm experimenting with. And obviously I'm still working on Danny Tree Frog at this point in time. I've still got plenty of material to work with that. And I thought about making a show, which is a new thing at this point in time, in case this is old, but I thought about making a show where I just use a character to go on rants about things. Like things I actually get irritated about, but obviously exaggerated with this character. Kind of like, what's bullshit, like with Cinemassacre, James Rolfe. The character, would probably be a little bit like bullshit man. And, I thought about that. I'm thinking about it. And like I said, I'll be exaggerating how much he hates things, which will be things I hate, whether it's just little rants, like little irritating things, like doesn't bother me too much, but to things that actually just kind of make me mad, just kind of ranting about things, but through a character and just exaggerating it. So I basically just repeated myself a few times, just through different ways.
Right, well, that's just something you're really good at. But anyway, before we go, I just have one more question, possibly for the audience as well. What is the deal with your name? Why did you decide to rename this channel Danny Ben S?
Oh, well, honestly, it's because, when I first made this channel, it was called the Untitled Team, which is obviously inspired by you, but because I was the only one really working on these videos and I couldn't really get a big team together, I decided to make it just my channel, It primarily was anyway, so I just thought, well, I'll just rename it to where people know it's just my channel. Which obviously I still have other people on here sometimes, but So I decided to get creative with my name, as some YouTubers do. Use their name, but get creative with it, and that was the most creative thing I could come up with, was just my first name, but calling it Danny, my middle name just with the first few letters, and my last initial. So that's just what I came up with.
Yes, well, I have noticed a lot of your more recent videos or in more recent years have had like Danny or something or DVS in the title somewhere, or maybe in the title. And no offense, I know you personally, I know you don't have a big ego, but say you had to convince somebody that you didn't have a big ego for some reason, all of this would probably not help you too much.
Well, yeah, that's a good point, and honestly, I hate it when people have big egos, so, and I really try not to have one, but I understand what you're saying there. Well, part of the reason I have my name, or at least my initials on some of these videos, is because, well, sometimes I search for things on YouTube, and I try to find if someone has already named a show something, or something very close. So sometimes I'll make a show, like if I can't find anything, and then once I put it out, I end up seeing, oh, there is a show like that, just YouTube did not show it to me whenever I was searching for it. So I wanted to kind of include something to let you know that this is a bit different from that other show. This is not the same thing, just in case if it's a very similar name. So that's why that's sometimes why I put my initials or one of my names on there. I try not to do it. I'm actually trying not to do it as much. I know obviously I call Danny Tree Frog Danny Tree Frog, but it's hard to not say my stereotypical things I go to when I'm off script.
Well, yeah, that's what we were talking about earlier. But I think I understand, Dan. I think I understand what you're saying about your name being in a lot of your videos. Whether or not the audience understands remains to be seen, but I get it. So thanks for joining us today, Dan. Thanks for joining us on this very first episode. Thanks for voluntarily coming and joining us today.
Well, thank you, Untitled, for letting me be here today, and hopefully you do well with the show.
Yeah, same to you. So join us next time, ladies and gentlemen, as hopefully our guest will actually appear next time. So until then, just like this video if you want to, subscribe if you want to. You know what? That's very similar to the gaming channel thing. I'll come up with something to say at the end of these, but basically like this and subscribe if you want to see more. And thanks for listening or watching, depending on what you did. So long for now.